Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB. I hope you are preparing well. So in this video we will discuss some important questions from quantitative methods module specifically. So we have discussed previously important questions from microeconomics and macroeconomics. I hope you have watched those videos. Those are really important for your phase 2 preparation. So let's look at what kind of questions are possible from this. See, a very common query that I receive is that do we also need to prepare numericals for phase 2? Definitely, you need to be ready with all kinds of questions, be it numerical or be it descriptive question, because quantitative methods will be tested in your phase 2 as well, and this time they have clearly specified that this particular module will carry 50 marks. So they can ask you either any kind of proof, or they can ask you some question from linear programming, or they can ask you some question from input-output model, right? These they can definitely ask you in a descriptive examination, because linear programming input-output model, because they have not tested in phase 1, they can definitely test you on these topics, and these are important topics also. They can also ask you some proofs to do from regression analysis. Okay, there are various proofs like to derive the formula for beta 1, beta 2, the variance, all of these they can ask you anything. So better is to make your preparation holistic, be truthful with your preparation, and do not leave with any kind of question. So if you are reading any particular topic, if you expect a long kind of question is possible, you should definitely cover it from examination point of view also. So we will discuss some question here. As you're aware, the exam date is September 2. You do not have much time, hardly 20 days are left now, and these are the 4 modules: micro, macro, quantitative methods, and Indian economy, and each of these will carry equal marks in the examination, 50 marks each of these modules. So spend equal amount of time on each of these modules. Now let's discuss some question from here. So in this question, it says that you have to consider 2 regression equations, y on x and x on y, and you have to show that the arithmetic mean of the 2 regression coefficients is greater than the correlation coefficient, provided the correlation coefficient is positive. This is what is asked. So this is again a proof, and definitely they can ask you such proofs in the examination. Nothing can stop them from asking any kind of proof. So I know at times as students it becomes difficult to memorize each and every proof, but try that you write down each of the proofs, each of the step in the proof, and if you write multiple times, you will automatically be able to memorize it. So the idea is to write more and more. That's how you will be able to prepare well for this phase 2 examination. So let's see how we prove such kind of questions. See, we have to take 2 regression equations, y on x and x on y. So in one case y is the dependent variable, and another case x is the dependent variable, and you have to show that the arithmetic mean of their coefficients, the regression coefficients, so one is going to be b by x and the other is going to be bxy. Okay, and these two, the arithmetic mean of these is greater than the correlation coefficient. That's what we have to show, provided the correlation coefficient is positive. So see, we know this, that this b by x can be written as what? B by x is equal to correlation coefficient times the standard deviation of y divided by the standard deviation of x, right? This is how you get the regression coefficient of y on x. Similarly, bxy can be written as what? Bxy is r times sigma x upon sigma y. Okay, now we have to take their arithmetic mean. So arithmetic mean means you have to add these 2 numbers and divide by 2. So r sigma y by sigma x plus r sigma x by sigma y is divided by 2. Okay, now when you solve this, what do you get? You have, after simplifying this whole equation, you have r sigma square y plus r sigma x square upon 2 times sigma x sigma y. Okay, when I simplified this complete equation. Now look at this here. What it tells you is, now I can take this r terms out, so r will be sigma y square plus sigma x square divided by 2 times sigma x sigma y. Now I know this, that standard deviation has to be positive. This term is positive, this term is positive, and this complete term is positive, right? Because this is the square. So everything here is greater than 0. So that means what? This term, this whole complete term has to be greater than r, right? Because this is r times something positive. So this has to be greater than r if what? If r is positive. But if r is negative, then obviously it will be less than r, right? So that's the proof that you have to do here. So from this area, more such kind of questions which are possible is that you could be asked that to explain what is AI, artificial intelligence, what is machine learning. You should know the basics of these. Then what is their application in today's world. Then you could be asked, you could be tested upon index numbers also in this module. So you could be tested upon to calculate price index numbers. You could be given some data, and out of that data you could be asked to calculate the Paasche price index or the Fisher's or the Laspier's price indices. So you should know, you should be clear about the different price indices, what are the formulas and how do we calculate. Then you could be asked to check for the test of adequacy of these price indices. So you could be asked that whether it satisfies the circular test, whether it satisfies the factor reversal test. All of these things you should know, and you could be asked that you are given so and so data, you have to check this. Then you could be tested upon Durbin-Watson test. Maybe you could be asked question on how to explain Durbin-Watson test of autocorrelation, and you could be asked some of the assumptions of the test. So you should be clear with all the assumptions of CLRM, right? Then you could be asked to solve a linear programming problem. You might be given some question on that, and you might be asked to maximize or minimize, or you also might be asked to write the dual of the linear programming problem. So that also can be asked. Then you might be asked questions on Lorentz curve. Okay, you might also be asked to some proofs from this portion also, the Lorentz curve, the proof of the formula also, the derivation. Then you might be asked questions on how to calculate the trend from the least square method. So you might be given some time series data, and then you might be asked to calculate the trend or to estimate the trend from that particular data. This kind of question was also there in the previous year. So let's see what kind of questions have come. So only two, as far as we have from the memory based questions, we have two questions that have appeared previously from this model. One was on the vector order regressive model, VAR model, and the other was on trend estimation. Apart from that, so far nothing else have been asked from quantitative methods specifically, but this time they can ask you more questions from this topic. So prepare well. You can also have a look at the previous year questions PDF and important questions PDF. All of these are linked in the description of the video. You will also get the preparation guide, and this is what we are currently doing. We are providing you 10 tests and 10 live sessions to assist your preparation for phase 2. If you have any questions, you can also call us here and ask. Thank you and all the best for your preparation.